here, Lisa?
Yeah, it was Brian. I just had to log him in to do the payroll transfer, so
Because
I think they're probably just,
I asked, she's going to talk to the two of the resolutions, or the one resolution and the one core ordinance. So I don't know if she's going to join us.
I don't know.
You know,
So we're on here.
Well, okay. 7 o'clock.
Animal control, I asked her. On time.
Okay, I'm going to call the meeting to order.
As required by the Veterans Act of 1975, as the notice is given, is provided on January 10th. Publication by the notice of the Star Gazette, which must have notice of the voting on the same day. Mayor Barsney?
Here.
Mr. Bean?
Here.
Mr. Marqueta? Mrs. on his way. Ms. McDermott?
Here.
Brown?
here.
Please stand for the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, welcome everyone. I'm going to jump around on this agenda a little bit to make some accommodations for people. So, first thing we want to do is the second reading of the ordinance to amend Chapter 2-3 of the Police Department to add a new Section 2-3, period 12, entitled Police Chaplain. So I'm open the meeting to a public hearing for the second reading of the ordinance. So does anyone would like to come up and make any statements, whatever, at the podium? Just give your name and address and state your piece, please. No one? Okay. I'm looking for a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll make the motion.
Okay. Chief, you want to make a little brief statement about it before we do it, or you just want us to fill it?
I won't delay it.
You want to delay it? Okay. I'll make the motion to adopt ordinance 102-2020, the ordinance amending the police department rules and regulations to add a new section entitled Police Chaplain. Anybody want a second?
I'll second.
Maybe you have questions, comments, or discussion? I think it's a great thing, and I'm glad we have someone willing to do it. Roll call.
Mayor Barsney?
Here, yes.
Mr. Bean?
Yes.
Ms. McDermott?
Yes.
Yes. Do you want to make any appointment, anything now?
I would just like to, as I mentioned with the first reading with it, recommend appointing George Bradwell as the police chaplain for the program.
I'll make that motion. Anybody want a second?
Second.
Any questions, comments, or discussion? Roll call? Yes.
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 Thank you so much for volunteering, and I'm glad to see someone's here willing to help out. And, you know, I know there are a lot of issues in law enforcement. The suicide rate concerns me greatly. I'm retired. I don't even know if you know that. I'm retired after 30 years of law enforcement myself. So I know we have an epidemic there, and, you know, police need healing as much as everyone else. And I appreciate you stepping forward and taking the helm, and I'm glad you're our first chaplain. So.
Thank you. If I may, I'll just say I really appreciate your support in this new position. I have to say I'm both excited and humbled by taking on the responsibility for an important job that's not been done before in this department. And I think bringing the services to chaplain into our police department and through our department into the community will be a very positive thing in the months and years to come. So thank you so much.
Okay, thank you again, and if you need anything from us, I think I speak for everyone, you certainly, you open door with us for that, so, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, Brad, the CFO appointments, you want to make a motion?
Yeah, we'll do that, and then can introduce Karen, and then she'll talk a little bit about the other couple resolutions. So, as some of you guys know, our CFO has resigned back at the end of October. We did a pretty extensive search, and happy to make 2 appointments tonight. So what we're going to do is we're going to kind of split the function a little bit from where it was before. So we used to have one CFO who did all of the functions of the finance office, and the hours during the day, during the week, were pretty limited. So what we're going to do now is we're going to have a part-time assistant to the CFO, and that's going to be Brian Corder, and his official first day will start on March 1st, we said, right? So he'll be here 4 days a week, 1:30 to 5:30, as a part-time assistant. And then we have Karen Finaro, did I say it correctly? Who will be our CFO as appointment. She'll also be part-time. I'm happy to have Karen join us, and we had a pretty good amount of applicants and interested parties for it. She's also the CFO at Township, is that correct? Lots of experience, also has her QPA, so she'll not only serve as our CFO, but also as our QPA. So I just want to welcome Karen aboard. So officially, I want to make a motion to appoint Karen Finaro as the CFO and Brian Corder as a part-time assistant to the CFO.
Okay, you made the motion?
Yes.
I'll second that. Anybody have any questions, comments, or discussion? I'd just like to thank Brad and Lillian. They spent a lot of time, we've had some issues with the CFO's position for the last few months. We've had other positions, and the two of them have worked pretty hard in the last few months filling these positions. And I thank you for your time and look forward to working with you, and good luck, and hopefully everything works out for us. Roll call.
Mayor Barsney?
Yes.
Mr. Bean?
Yes.
Mr. Jordan?
Yes.
Yes. All right, so then with that, what I thought we'd do is, we'll do the one resolution and the one ordinance, and then after that, we could go into executive.
Yeah.
So, while Karen's here, and then this way afterwards, you can go work on whatever you need to do with Brian. So the first is, there's a resolution 2220, which is authorizing change in claimant signature requirements. And then second is introducing an ordinance for the 2020 COLA. But what I like is, Karen, if you can just kind of explain to the committee and the public, yeah, you can use that microphone, what the change in claimant signature requirements, what that means.
Sure. So, in the past, for years and years, we would mail out purchase orders, and we were required to actually have the vendor sign off on the purchase order, on their claimant certification that the goods were filled, and they would send it back along with their invoice. They've changed that rule to make things more efficient and actually to save on postage, where towns can pass a resolution that says basically we no longer require claimant certification. The only ones that statutorily we require are for individuals, sole proprietors, and for employees. It's like if you do a mileage reimbursement or something like that, the employee still does have to sign off on that. So this is just to make things more efficient with the prompt pay laws changing, where I believe we have to pay vendors within 30 days. This really helps because we no longer have to mail out those purchase orders and wait for them to come in and then pay the bill. Now, once the invoice comes, it goes to the department head. The department head can say, yes, we received those goods. They sign off on the purchase order that they're happy with everything, send it back to finance, then we can go ahead and pay the bill. So it just makes things much more efficient and actually does save on postage.
Okay. Anybody have any questions on that resolution?
We'll make the motion for it.
Yeah, so I'll make a motion to authorize change in claimant signature requirements.
Anybody want a second?
I'll second.
Anybody have any questions, comments, discussion? Roll call.
Mayor Barsney?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
You want to do the COLA law? She's sure, right?
Yeah, and then we introduced the COLA ordinance. This is it's referred to as the COLA ordinance, which is cost of living adjustment, and it has to do with setting annual budgets. A lot of towns do this, which allows appropriations to go above the 2.5% to a 3.5%, right?
Correct.
It's an extra 1%. So if you want to maybe just explain that a little bit for the town.
So you can raise your budget appropriations or expenses up to the cost of living, or you pass this ordinance and you can go up to 3.5%. You do not have to go up to 3.5%. This just allows for you to have that flexibility. And if you don't bring your appropriations up to the 3.5%, you can then bank the difference between what you raise your appropriations and the 3.5% for 2 years. It really becomes helpful. You don't know what could happen if you have to settle a lawsuit and all of a sudden now you need to put more expenses into your budget. You can use this bank, which will allow you then to go above and beyond the cost of living adjustment. So it's just a helpful tool. You don't necessarily have to raise your appropriations up to that level, and you may never use the bank. You may let it lapse, but it's just a helpful budgetary tool.
Right, so I don't want the public to think that as we're
Yeah.
doing this and passing this, that we're going to utilize it. It's just, it really is it's a financial tool.
Mhm.
It allows us the flexibility, just as Karen said, is if a year or two from now, there is something that comes up that we did not anticipate, we have this tool that sometimes you'll hear people refer to it as a bank cap, and it allows us to utilize it if we should need it. So, if you don't pass the ordinance, if you don't do this, you can't do it later. That's why we do this now, because if you don't pass this in the budget year, is that
Yep.
right? You can no longer have that tool in your toolbox, so to speak, later on. So, that's why we introduced these. It doesn't mean we're going to use it, but it does allow us that flexibility, so.
You want to make a motion?
So I'll make a motion to pass ordinance 104, 2020. Introduce it, I'm sorry. Introduce the ordinance 104, 2020, the COLA ordinance.
I'll second it. Anybody have any questions, comments, or discussion on it?
Just one question. This is similar to a cap that we've already done in the past.
We passed this we definitely did it for 19. I don't
Mhm.
recall if we did 18.
I don't
I'm
think
not
you
sure.
did.
And it needs to be done annually then?
Yes.
Okay.
If you remember, this
We're
wasn't
calling
done,
it something different than
this
what we
wasn't
did.
done before us, and then our first year on, we really had trouble working with the budget because we couldn't actually go above the 2%.
No, yeah, I recall the issue. I remember, we just called it something slightly different then, but
It's
yeah.
called the ordinance to exceed budget appropriation.
Yep.
and
Again,
establish-
we didn't spend it, but we couldn't even appropriate, like, it was just caused us a lot of problems
Yeah.
by not having it.
Yeah, if you don't have it, it really ties your hands as to how you can, address any, expenses that you weren't anticipating.
Roll
So,
call.
Mayor Barsney?
Yes.
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 I'm looking for a motion to go into executive session
So,
to discuss.
thank you very
the,
much for coming, I appreciate it.
Thanks, Karen, nice meeting you.
Thank you.
Yes, we do too, thank you.
Looking for a motion to go into executive session to meet with representative from the Span Agency regarding the possibility of auctioning off 2 properties in town to discuss pricing strategies and other type contractual issues with this type of a deal. So, anybody want a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. How long would you say would be, Bob?
I'm an auctioneer, I can talk fast.
Come on up.
Hopefully it won't be long. It's the only thing we're gonna do with this.
15, 20 minutes, tops.
Wow, the crowd got much smaller now. That's bad.
All I can tell you is we were going pretty fast, and then the lawyer started to talk.
We get paid by the hour.
Well, this time I thought it was by the word.
Okay, I'm looking for a motion to come out of executive session.
I'll make that. I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we're in executive for about, I guess, 30 minutes now. We had a discussion with the attorney over attorney-client matter, and we had a discussion with the Span Agency regarding the auction of some town properties. No action was taken, and none's going to be taken as a result of executive now, and we'll go back to the meeting. So I'm looking for a motion to adopt the approval of the minutes for the regular meeting of January 16, 2020, and the special meeting of January 25, 2020. Anybody make that motion?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Any questions, comments, discussions, corrections, anything? Roll call?
Mayor Barsney?
Yes.
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 I'm looking for a motion to accept the treasurer's report in the January bill list. Anybody want to make the motion?
I'll make the motion.
Everyone a second?
Second it.
Anybody have any questions, comments, or discussion on the bill list or anything? Anybody need anything pulled? Roll call? Yes.
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 I'm looking for a motion to accept the tax collector's tax and store reports for January 2020. Anybody want to make the motion?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second. Any questions, comments, discussion on the reports? Roll call?
Mayor Barsney?
Yes.
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 Chief, you're up. Chief, please. Not chief of fire. After I said chief, I realized we got a lot of chiefs in here.
Okay, police report for the month of January, 1,083 calls. you'll see 22 adult arrests, 1 drunk driving arrest, 167 traffic summonses, and 12 cases assigned Detective Bureau, 12 cleared. And just to highlight our traffic concerns, we had 17 truck summonses on 173, 14 on North Main Street, 10 on South Main Street, 2 on Warren Glen that was as a result of being on either South Main Street or 173, and 5 summonses issued on Beatty's Road that accounted for about 28% of our summonses overall were for truck traffic. So it's a big chunk, but I know it's still coming. Never stop. We are trying to get out there. We had 323 motor vehicle stops in the month, so quite a bit of stops. And February's mountain to be just the same. I had mentioned to the mayor one of our vehicles, unfortunately, our Charger, the engine blew in it. I am going to talk to CFO, see what money's left over in my budget. I spoke to our shop. I can put a used engine in for about half. It would cost to put a new engine in, which a new engine would be $7,000 was what I was quoted. So I'll, if I had the money in that, I just wanted to advise the committee and go forward with that. Is there any questions with that, or?
Well, any particular reason why that engine failed? Mileage was way up there?
Well,
mechanical problem that caused it?
It is one of the ones up there with mileage, but head gasket went on it, and it severely, there's antifreeze inside the block, and the mechanic said with the way the type of that engine that is, with the cams and everything, he's had no experience, or excuse me, no success with just repairing the engine. Yeah.
With that being said, I know that, okay, a used motor is at $3,500 versus a new one, but does he have a general idea? Because I'm going to tell you, there's manifolds, there's hoses, there's other things that most generally don't really work well again after the motor's pulled. Is he coming up with a general number?
Yes. He gave me, I believe, an estimate of $4,500, and that's installed, and with a used engine that he says has lower mileage. I asked him about, is the vehicle worth keeping? He said, yeah, other than the engine, it's actually in pretty good shape. So I was surprised to hear that. It is a vehicle that I'd like to give to our second detective, which will be starting next month with our case backload. I'm hoping that clears up a lot of our larger cases. So we still haven't received the vehicle that I ordered last year. Supposedly, I keep getting told, in 2 weeks, and I've been being told that for the past 3 months. So we'll see. I'm hoping now it is in the shop getting equipped. So I'm really hoping that in the next week or two that it is received. So
Where's that delay been with the shop that's outfitting it?
both them, and then there was a strike. Apparently GM had a strike, so all production stopped, and that really hammered us. So unfortunately, because we're one of the smaller departments ordering vehicles, places like Newark and that, they go to the top because they got more vehicles, and it's just the way it is. But that's where we're at with that. Was there any other questions?
Well, judging by the truck ticketing that you're giving, the new signage that the state finally put up out on the exit 3 eastbound, they put signage about no trucks can make the right-hand turn over 10 tons, and then right at the top there's one. Turned out not to be much help.
No, and you know what, I was just talking to some of the residents. They asked if that sign had gone up. I said, you had mentioned that it did. My mistake, I didn't notice it or not, but I can tell you I just wrote a summons this week or last week and a gentleman came off there, and he said he didn't see any signage. So,
The one coming up,
I-
I could see the one at the top of the ramp but it's still visible. The one on the ramp is huge.
to not see three signs, I
Right,
find
right.
very hard. But, yeah, regardless, I think you could put up all the signs you want, and they're either gonna say they don't see him, or, they see him and they just don't care.
They don't care. Well, then
They go with the odds.
right, no, exactly. But then my next question is, I hear that, only because I ran into the trucker who was taking pictures. Apparently, the truckers that coming off 57 don't see that it's a 10-ton weight-limited road until they're on North Main Street because of the signage right there. Now, if you're on Liberty, which most of them aren't, they're coming off of 57, you already see the signage because Liberty Road is clearly marked. So should we be looking to get signage out on Route 57? Because apparently this guy is fighting the ticket
Okay.
just for that purpose. And should we be looking to get signage on 57 that said 10-ton trucks, no left-hand turn?
Definitely it won't hurt. I could tell you, I have no knowledge of us ever losing a summons for a truck.
Trucker's responsibility, no truckers, right?
Exactly.
Other than local deliveries, obviously, but.
Right, well, I said, this
Yeah,
is just
but-
one guy that I just happened, because he was out there taking pictures, and we were curious.
We are just invested in the signs that actually blink around the outside and stuff. So they
Right. But,
Yes, you can reach out to the state DOT.
yeah, because this one hasn't, I guess this one hasn't, because this was just this week, so it probably hasn't come across the court yet.
Yeah, it will take at least a month.
Right, exactly, so I don't know, but he was out there, he was thrilled to death. And I looked and I was like, oh, well, maybe he has a valid point. Not saying I know what the judge is gonna do. So if we can be proactive and get some signs up there too, so that they cannot read it, but, I was just curious what your thought was on
Yeah,
that.
yeah, definitely more signage can't hurt, so,
Okay.
I'll,
I find that they're getting even more brazen with their speed.
Me too.
They're going fast.
Yeah,
I mean, not they're going 60 on these roads, but like Maple Drive's 35, and I'm sure there's some of them going across there at 45 to 50.
And
They're going pretty fast. Don't worry, Glenn. I mean, the more familiar they're getting with the roads,
yeah.
they're going faster. I know.
yeah, and I could
You
tell
can
you,
almost tell who's lost, because the guy's going real slow, you can tell they're just like confused, but some of them looking around the corners pretty quick, I'm like, you guys been here before.
Right.
we'll look into that and, see if they can, throw some more out there.
No, I appreciate what you've been doing. I see them out all the time, the cars sitting, especially like a 173 and, South Main, I see them there, and I see them, on Beatty's a lot, sitting for radar, end trucks, and so, I mean, they can only do what they can do, but we appreciate that. But I still get complaints and emails from people, and I live on I'm on one of the roads where I get the trucks too. It's very frustrating. I mean, they just keep coming. They just keep coming. It's like,
Absolutely.
it's unbelievable how many go down those roads now. And it's not because of the detour. I mean, Beatty's Road might stop a little bit with the detour when the bridge is back up, but South Main, North Main, and Maple, and
And Warren
639, I don't think that's gonna end just because of the
Me
detour.
either. It's just getting worse.
Yes,
That's for sure.
I mean, if, we're just gonna keep putting them out there.
We
Keep
appreciate what
bringing
you're doing, I mean, but, like I said, I feel what people are saying, well, you live on it too. Middle of the night, I hear them going.
My house rattles.
Oh, yeah, like 2, 3 in the morning, they're going by, so, okay, well, thanks, Chief.
Okay, any, questions on the, overtime report?
I don't have any.
And the only thing I want to add is we did receive a application for crossing guard. I did an interview today, did a background, so I'd like to recommend appointing that party.
Yeah. What's the name?
It's Laura Ritzmiller, local resident.
I'll make a motion, we appoint Laura Rissmiller is that a part-time?
No, it would be filling that post that we lost from
I'll make a
up the
motion,
street
we
there.
appoint Laura Rissmiller as the crossing guard for the police department. Anybody want a second?
Second.
Anybody questions, comments, roll call?
Mayor Martin?
Yes.
Judy?
Yes.
Ms. Jones?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks. Thanks, Chief. Joe?
Okay, buildings and grounds wise, the day of our budget meeting, the 25th, we ended up having a sewer clog and a sewer malfunction, unfortunately. Ended up being the cause of, our quarterly pumping got missed. Right now, Castle Septic is doing it. We were under contract with Warren Septic, but that has fallen through. I think we're probably, and after looking at that, we're in the process. I'm going to start getting prices. We're probably beyond the 3-year service for that service. So probably due for a new contract to do a 3-year deal to have our septic done on a quarterly basis here. So I'll start getting price quotes. I know in the co-op has some price quotes for that service also, so I'll compare it to the local. And also the porta-johns from Castle are going up also. We can discuss at budget time. I just got that information here a week or so ago. So we had that little issue, and I had to do some overtime to get it cleaned out. Then I had to have a plumber come in. So as long as that tank's empty, we shouldn't have a problem with the septic system here. So that was the cause of that. DPW was also able to get our air compressor lines run in the new equipment building, and Sergeant McLaughlin talked to me. He likes to keep the tires of police cars maintained and stuff. So what I'm going to do is outfit that building out there with an outside air outlet so they can plug a hose in, keep their tire pressures up and stuff on the police cars as a safety feature and stuff, and the patrolmen running the cars can handle that because the car's got the idiot lights saying tires are low and stuff like that, and they've stopped by the firehouse and got me a few things. So we're going to do that for them. They'll have their own air hoses and stuff. DPW wise, catching up on some tree trimming and stuff like that because of the light winter, which is good for us. Tree trimming, Christmas tree chipping, January 4th through 11th, we collected and chipped up 93 Christmas trees. Were dropped off on those 2 Saturdays to us. Like I said, Rickline Road and a lot of areas up in the heights, we've done some tree trimming. And really, basically, only other thing is, like I said, the call out. We did have a couple winter storms, overtime, 38 hours of overtime, 49 and a half hours of part-time hours for the winter. And one other, just under the municipal park, the merry-go-round broke. We were able to take that all apart, remove it, brought it in, welded, and put some new frame pipes on and reinstalled that during the month of January there. So that's back up and running instead of spending about, I think it was, looked at the price real quick, $8,000 or $9,000 for a merry-go-round because it's got to have a clutch. It can't go so fast, and that's already set up that way. So we took care of that. That's it. Thank you.
Thanks for all you do, Joe.
Yeah, thank you very much.
And also, I did get an email from a couple of people who were fixing the monument up at the Steckers Field.
Yeah, I just got to get the brick cleaned up there, but it's all repointed and stuff, and I think the stone will make a big difference to the means.
Well, they did. They already thanked the people. Some of the people made the report about it. Lisa, you have anything you want to?
Yeah, we have a few things. The website relocation, we've been discussing this for, I believe, a year now, that this day is coming, and May is at the end of the month. So we need to make a motion on the record to authorize Cindy to that she can get done. I thought they should.
I thought we did this, because when I saw that email.
Well,
was
I
like,
thought so too, but
I think it got held up somewhere between like what we were gonna be doing, were we gonna be adding that email blast, there was a bunch of different things. So,
because I had actually spoke to her last week about linking a community website to it, and that's when she had brought it back to my attention, and that's when I said, geez, I thought we took care of this problem a while ago.
And she did provide, and I put it in your packet, a more detailed sort of proposal, including what Paul had asked to be added with the option to have that communication sort of site as a separate site, and also I think originally we would ask about maybe a separate community day site, so she's including all of things here, and
Yeah, and I know we have links for, on the existing one, don't we have links for, rec too? For where they put their
There
stuff?
are, it's not super user-friendly. Part of it, if you continue in her course, she's saying she agrees that it's time to sort of revamp it.
Revamp it,
But
right?
right now, we just need to get it moved over to.
Yeah,
Next.
so that host can accommodate some of those extra functions that we
I
want.
think it's gonna give us a little more space, so she's able to do it.
So do we need to make a motion to move it?
Yep, just a motion to authorize it, so. Do you want to make that motion?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Any more questions or comments, discussion on it? Roll call? Yes.
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 Email migration, all the active mailboxes have been moved over. The archiving, from call center will be complete by the end of the weekend. If anybody is not using a municipal email address right now, you guys need to get in touch with John Paul, and he'll get you all set up with, like, the accounts have been created, but he needs to get you started because you didn't have one that you could move over. So that's sort of the next step. If you don't have one, he was gonna send you all an email.
Yeah, he did, he texted me, he didn't send an email, and I do want to start using a town-based one.
If anybody hasn't heard from him and you need to get it going, just let me know and I'll get it. in touch
My
with him.
personal one gets a lot of
He wanted to
counties.
get the ones that we had moved over and, get those.
Right.
The zoning computer is gonna be installed next week. We're still in limbo here with the court reporter. A decision might have to be made in terms of, the budget process. This is the same one that I provided you guys a couple months ago. We were hoping the grant would come in and let us do an upgrade so we could keep the system. But he said that they want to come out and do a site inspection because there's certain ways that they may not be willing to provide support to it. So if they want, we have to get them. I provided an update to the links for bid opening. I think you guys were all emailed that anyway by Frank Pinto, but I'm going to include that in here. Filing cabinets have been ordered as per our discussion at the last meeting, so we're going to work on records sorting. The storage commission is kind of later. The last item for consideration, I was talking to Ella, and right now online, residents can make tax and sewer payments through the website. However, there is a fee, and I want to say that it's like a percentage, possibly 2%. We were going to be looking at that, but it's an expense to taxpayers. And in Union Township and other places that use the CityNet, and I'm sure there's others, they pay a flat fee of $1,200 a year or $1,250 a year to allow the service. So in theory, all of your residents could use it, and the township would be paying this flat fee. There's no fee to the taxpayer. It encourages more online payments, which would cut down on a lot of the, inner office work. So I'm all for it. I was surprised it was that low. I actually thought that they would probably want to provide an estimate based on our taxpayers. I just had a question to Ella as to whether, I think they just have tax over there, not tax and sewer. Similar number of residences, so I'm hoping that it would just be the 1250. It could be double that, but just something to throw out there for us to consider.
Is it associated with Citibank?
I don't know. You would almost assume. I don't know if Ella's still here either. She was going to try to reach out to them, get a formal quote, but she wasn't able to.
Yeah, if we can get more information on it, because the other thing too is to make sure how that interfaces with the admin system.
Yeah. I think they use MSI, but I'm sure we could, figure it out, but,
Yeah, because that's the key.
yeah. Yeah, she brought it to me yesterday, so let me go to my report so we can just start thinking about it in terms
Because
of.
if it doesn't interface with admins, then
Right.
you're still gonna have to do the input. But if it does and it's $12.50 for both, I mean, it's great, because I was just talking about this with my wife. I'm like, the only reason I don't pay online is because there's a 2% fee. I'll just cut a check and mail it. But if it's free, yeah,
Yeah, I think a lot of people think.
everybody needs, because then you don't just do it
Other
online.
things too, I know that there's another option is that a lot of towns will have it where it's $1.50 fee, and it's like, for $1.50, it's worth the convenience, but the percentage, the way it's set up right now, this percentage, it's not utilized. So.
Yeah, we should find out more, because maybe the existing service we have, if they realize that we're looking to cut over to a different one, maybe they would be open to a different arrangement.
The only other thing too, Bob, were you gonna do the AT&T thing, or did Rich miss that?
Oh, Rich missed that. Rich, did you want to talk about the phone switch?
Yes.
I think you forgot about that. It's no big deal.
And while Rich is getting set up, let me ask Larry a question. And because Lisa brought it to my attention, we're having a conversation, and we're about to line that wall over there where Chief Mex is sitting with full filing cabinets and things, and apparently at one time it was like that. If we were to lease space at a different location, these files, planning board, old tax records, old, assessors, things of that nature, would it need to be in a secured situation?
Well, first of all, this should,
Yes.
what should be done, all of those old records, instead of doing that in storage, it should be scanned in and, electronically.
Well, not going to argue that point, but the funds on that are probably non-existent at this point,
What
but,
records they are. I mean, there are certain records that have to be secured, there are other records that,
right? I'm just now picturing that whole wall.
in a storage place, even if it's one of these indoor storage, they're pretty safe the way they're built. So, but there are certain records that have to be secured, which would probably be better if they're maintained in the building.
Okay, all right.
But other like minutes and things like that, stuff like that would be.
Okay, Rich?
So I met with a representative from AT&T, and they had approached our County Chiefs Association and put on a presentation about switching to their FirstNet network, which is first responder priority. I believe the fire department. Okay. Did you have any problems with the service thus far?
It's getting better.
Okay.
At first, it was a little rough, but it's getting better. And all our notepads and our fire engines are on FirstNet now.
So I had a tester phone for several months. I tested it out. I didn't have any problem with service while I had it. The phones that they provide us also are similar to like a Nextel. So basically, it can be used like features like a radio, and we can key it up and whatnot. It can't be solely dependent on as a radio because it doesn't have, it's not authorized, I should say, to be first priority to just have that, but it definitely can be used in the field. The officers have to have their radio available, no matter what anyway. So I'd like to switch the service for all of our cell phones within the township, including DPW and the clerk in the police department. They're basically, it's a dedicated network, so we have priority calling. If when 9/11 happened and people couldn't get out, well, this all came about because of that. So there's a separate line that our calls go through no matter what, as first responders. So if the network's jammed up, other people are dropped off, and our priority call is going through. Bottom line is, it actually does save us money. It's like it's about a $1 savings to switch to them. The only initial cost is Verizon. We had free phones. The phones that are similar to what we would get from Verizon, we have to pay 99 cents for. So it's a $12.87 one-time charge to get our phones, and then the monthly service, which, like I said, is about a dollar less a month than Verizon.
So a little over $500 yet, though, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
$515.87. That includes our hotspots for the police cars, for the computers to have internet. So
You keep all the same numbers?
yes, yep.
You need an authorization, who is that what you're looking for?
I wanted to let you all know. I didn't know if I needed an authorization or not, but I just wanted to
Anybody have any objections?
ask.
No, you got,
So I guess
satisfied
we
with
got
it?
tacit approval.
Good?
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. Court report, Paul, we have anything on that, or?
No, I don't, and you can see that the court, whoever's in charge of that is allocating the funds. Neither us nor POHAT are really collecting anything on it,
Mhm.
while the contract's under negotiation. So, but I don't have any questions about it. I mean, it's fine.
I do, so are they, have we received anything?
We haven't received any counter from them, and, I was trying to follow up today. I made a call, but I couldn't get through. Have you talked to, the mayor or anybody?
It's not in the mayor's wheelhouse, it's with two other gentlemen.
Yeah, I spoke to one of the committee meetings, says it's been discussed, they're discussing.
Right, right.
I'm thinking maybe I ought to contact Mike tomorrow. I know their attorney contacted Mike when we held it for a few months.
Oh,
So
okay.
maybe I'll just have Mike. call
Yeah, I was
their
gonna say, I'm not
attorney.
sure if it was
That's
slow
where
or
they
us or them,
stand,
but.
So that's on the
I
contract,
can call Mike tomorrow.
Yeah, fine.
but as far as any of the disbursements, the funds, like if there's something due us, they haven't sent us anything.
No, they haven't sent us anything in a while.
Which I don't think Larry, is that proper? Because,
I'm sorry, I missed that.
so they haven't been dispersing the funds to us since when? I don't even know.
I think it's been about 4 months now.
Because the contract is expired, but they should still be dispersing.
No,
that
I
under the
thought the
contract.
order came from,
Should be under the terms of the old contract.
Yeah,
They're
but,
still handling our.
but the old contract says they get their money first. Remember, sometimes we didn't get money.
right, well, they are getting some money, but I'm under the impression that, what's the department that oversees that?
AOC.
AOC, put a stop on dispersing funds to the municipality other than this one line item there until it got solved. Yes,
Well, let's probably try to put pressure on you.
but, okay.
Yeah,
I'll
I'd like to
talk
also
to
look at
Mike.
that too, because that just doesn't, to me, it doesn't sound right.
There is a party in charge, the county clerk system, that's in charge of the municipal courts for the listeners 13. So, I mean, we'll check on that.
I mean, we're not talking, big money, but it's just the point that I was always under the impression that, yeah, while you're negotiating a contract, you will run a store employees.
Yeah, it is usually, but I think that contract was one of our complaints that we wanted to change is they recoup their fees up front.
Right,
We
right,
would
they
always
got
not
it all
get
in
start
front.
getting money until
Right.
March or April anyway.
Right.
That was always our complaint.
Yes.
And they are willing to change.
And they
that.
were willing to disperse it evenly, right?
Well, I presume they have to give an accounting of, you get the court costs and any local ordinance.
Yes, yeah, they had, yeah, they do, they give, he's got to report their,
So,
okay, ACL? Nothing on ACL? Okay, I'm looking for a motion to accept the police department report, DPW report, council clerk's report, the court report, and ACO report.
I'll make the motion.
Maybe a second?
I'll second.
Roll call? Yes.
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 Committee reports. Anybody have any committee reports?
We have on the rec, right? There's 2 resignations. Did we accept those last month? I
No,
don't
it was
recall.
after that. It was after
Yeah,
that.
I thought it was the day of, but I don't know if we accepted them or not, but.
I don't think we did either.
Honestly, we might have.
Someone's raising their
We
hand.
might have mentioned Jay Carter.
What's ACO mean?
Animal control officer. Okay, I'll make a motion that we accept the resignations to the rec committee from Jay Carter and Kevin Beam with regret. With regret.
I'll
Let's-
second.
I'll second it.
Anybody else have any comments, questions on
No,
it?
with regret.
Okay, roll call.
Mayor Barsney?
Yes.
Mr. Beam?
Yes.
Mrs. McDermott?
Yes.
Yes.
Any other?
No.
Bob has 2 people to reappoint.
See,
Well, I was gonna do it on the new business, but.
No, under new, no, well, I thought that was Brad's next question,
yeah,
right?
that was,
Yeah.
you can do it on the business.
Okay. Professional, anybody else have any committee reports? Professional? Mike, you,
I'll
yeah.
report to the session.
quickly. Water main project, continuation of, house connections, and actually, on a personal note, I was connected with about a couple weeks ago, and my wife is not thrilled with the taste of the new water.
I have heard that.
But I have spoken with Montana on a number of occasions recently, and the paving of the roadways is front and center. They want to try to get it done as soon as they're wrapping up with the other heavy equipment work that's being done in the areas. It's still not done, but they're getting close. So we're thinking maybe May-ish, they may be in a position to actually pave the roads. And the roads are pleased. Wants me every day. Okay. Any other question on the water main project?
Well, actually, yeah, real quick, since you just brought it up about the tape. Is your community being serviced now by Aqua or by the Washington?
No.
Aqua, okay.
Yeah, no.
Because I heard that there was a distinct taste between the two water companies.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't hear that.
Okay. No, okay, I knew they hooked up to Aqua, I didn't know if it was all, because originally the water that was up there was being fed by American Water in Washington. All right, so you're with Aqua, okay. Well, then you gotta drink what everybody else is drinking.
Yeah, no,
There you go.
I have the aqua water. I don't,
Well,
you know, it's new pipes though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's different.
Yeah,
No, it's way
I have
different.
water. As soon as I drink any water, it's from the
I'm fine.
system.
Yeah.
But I mean, all the new pipes too, probably.
Brand spanking new pipes. You got it. Okay. The pavilion. We got an update today from Jeremy, from Dutchman. Work is gonna start commencing, well, I guess it has. It's started.
He has cleared the topsoil and leveled it off. I talked to him.
Oh, it must have been just today, I was gonna say just today?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I drove by there this morning, I saw, no, right, but that's nice. Okay.
It's cleared, and I talked to him about the stone, and he said that was in his bid, so I said if he needs any extra, let me know, and I'll get him stone.
So,
Nice. Wait,
Okay.
hold on. The stone, that's part of the
That's
site
what he
plan?
told me. That's
the
what he was-
stone is part of the.
Jonathan was there himself doing the
The
work.
extra was for the preparation work, stripping
Yeah.
the topsoil.
I thought he needed the stone for the foundation.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah,
and it's,
we're providing that.
He said he put it in the bid.
yeah, it's in there.
You sure about that?
Yes, talked to him today. He said he put.
I am
You get
totally,
a change order for what you got there.
well, we got the change order for the prep work.
Yeah.
Did that also include stone?
No,
That
because,
was under the contract.
yeah, that's under the original contract.
The concrete.
And what was it that he said we needed to bring in 20 tons of stone?
Cycle.
Right, but I thought he also, part of that, he said we needed to bring in stone.
No, I think the question was getting the stone to the site. I think that was the issue.
I just double checked with that, because I thought, this was my understanding, I could be completely wrong. The site work wasn't in the bid originally, we approved the change order, the prep work, I'm sorry. Approved the change order, and the prep work, I thought, did not include the stone, and that we needed to provide the 20 ton of stone, or whatever it is.
I called Jonathan today because that was my thoughts too, and he said he had in there for the stone, he didn't need any, and if he did need anything outside of what he expected, he would let me know, and I'll do it.
All right, then that's good, because that's what I must think, because I thought we had to,
Yeah, that's what I thought
No,
too.
because there's only a few details we actually provided, but one was the cross-section, obviously, of the floor, which
Right.
includes the stone and then the concrete.
okay.
So stone goes in.
All right, so I misunderstood that,
Yeah.
okay, all right,
So-
well, that's good then.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, no, good. So, but did you want to bring up the other change orders that you talked about? Did we talk about the open space?
Yeah, so because we want to, bring it up for approval tonight, right? So we,
I don't have to.
yeah, I can just briefly, so part of, the one thing we need to add to the roof or the snow guards. So it wasn't something that we specifically called out for, on the build out of it. So obviously with an 80-foot roof line. It's a 40 by 80 pavilion, by the way. So, it's gonna be pretty nice when it's all done. So we don't want an 80-foot by 40-foot 2 times, because it's almost sliding down on somebody. So we need to put snow guards up. I think the change order form was, I don't have it in front of me, but it was somewhere between $1,700 and $1,800. It was like $1,765 or something like that. It's there. We looked at the guards that they're proposing to put up, and because I know one of the OS members was concerned that they were going to just kind of bend over because he's seen that before. But these that they're putting up have like almost like a double. It's like, I don't know, it's like double thick where the bend is. It looked like a pretty quality snow guard. So the only other option is to put with these bars up. But the only problem with the bars is it's ugly. Because it's like you put a whole strip bar across the whole length of it. So if it slides down, the bar breaks up the snow. Versus having these, like, you've probably seen those snow guards. It's just aesthetically, the snow guards, I think, are a better look.
I found
Am I right, 1765?
it's darn close.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have been as close. 1734.
All right. Pretty close. All right.
What's the total amount of contract?
About 120.
So that's was that referred to as change order number 2? Okay. And then change order number 3 is when we originally put out the bid for the pavilion, we did not include electric, knowing that we were wanting to add it in later, and we asked them to give us an estimate for putting in electric, which in summary, it runs about 150 feet of conduit from the back of the existing concession stand to the pavilion. There's 8 receptacles for lighting, and we said 6, I believe, outlet. There's 6 outlets, right? Yeah, because we were going to do corners and then centers on the outlets, and 8 light. So 1 lighting fixture for each 20. It would be like a 20 by 20 section, which would be more than enough with LED lighting. In addition, he's going to run a second conduit for us from the concession stand, the back of the concession stand, to the pavilion for future security cameras, because you need a second conduit for that. And also, it includes a sub panel, a 60 amp sub panel that would be installed at on probably one of the poles of the pavilion, so that it can lock it. This way, you don't have to go into the utility room if it trips, and you can just reset it.
Here, I turned the switch circuit on for the light, so kids ain't in there leaving.
Exactly. Yeah. And what was the?
This one,
This was a bigger one.
This one is $14,611. You want me to read off the?
Yeah, you can read them
real
off.
quick,
Yep.
so I got it here. Okay, these are the extras, electrical related items. 8 LED canopy lights, 2 LED 2-headed floodlights, 6 receptacles, 2 switches, both the timer controls, 60 amp sub panel, I tried to explain, trenching and conduit into from the existing electric to the pavilion, a second empty conduit line for future security cameras, and that's obviously on with prevailing wage. So that's the electric change order.
But you have to watch here. If you see 10% going wrong, look at this in a while, the original contract, and the special provisions.
No, it's 20.
It's 20%. 20% of the original.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's, I think we're
You
okay.
may be right, have a look at it.
Yeah.
But are the total change orders under 20%
Yes.
of the total contract?
Okay, right, yep.
So we discussed it at the OS meeting. We talked about, reasonableness of it, and they've been pretty good, and everyone on the committee voted to recommend the TC to authorize this.
Yeah, money in open space account for it?
We do, yeah. There's funds in the open space to cover this. So we had it, and we're still within the original budget that we set for the whole park build. So,
You wanna make a motion for it? Go ahead.
yeah, so I'd like to make a motion to authorize change order number 2 for the snow guards, and change order number 3 for the electric on the pavilion.
I'll second. Anybody have any questions or comments, discussion on it? Roll call?
Mayor Barsney?
Yes.
Mr. Beam?
Yes.
Mr. McDermott?
Yes.
Mr. Crowe?
Yes.
Last thing. That relates to, again, the OU2 paving aside, the other 2 grants we have, which are DOT grants. Dumont Road from last year, or actually 2 years ago, and Brickline Hill from last year. That's 4 this year, I guess. I spoke briefly with the CFO, who I obviously spent tonight, mentioned that, just mentioned to her. I know they supplied budget estimates and with the corresponding shortfalls and so forth, so are we forging ahead here? I mean, we've done some work on Dumont, we've done work on Stewartsville Road and Washington Street because we had to maintain our grant. Dumont, we've done a little bit of work, Brickline Hill, nothing. So, are we on board budget-wise, that we're gonna do these jobs this year, or we don't know yet, or what are we doing?
Well, I don't know, Joe, have we actually talked about where there was surplus? Because I see between the 2 of them, we need to come up with around $70,000, give or take. And I was actually a little surprised by that. Again, my naive thinking that, that the grants covered A to Z. Now I see that they covered A to U, and we have some responsibility. Now, I do know that we had 30,000 left over in last year's budget, that we were gonna do some paving on some older roads, right? But I don't know where the rest is coming from at this stage of the game.
Hence the reason for me bringing this up, exactly.
Right.
And again, it's only February. We don't have to do both this year, we don't have to do either, to be honest with you. I mean, we punted on Dumont last year, and Dumont's pretty straightforward.
Right.
I would certainly recommend getting Dumont done, because it's pretty straightforward, I mean.
Well, I think once we do our next budget meeting, we'll have a clearer idea, so I don't think we can give you an answer on the subject matter tonight.
Okay,
You know.
that's fine. And so we will still just chill.
Yeah, I think when the budget meeting, the intent anyway was, right, to fund the paving for the water project, our half, and to do these 2. That was what we originally desired to do.
Right.
And especially Rickline, because of where it's, it's right next to it.
Right.
It would make a lot of sense to do that one.
Yep. Well,
If we're gonna choose.
You're right.
Right.
All those roads.
Dumont is sort of, standalone. But, to Paul, your point, we're not gonna know until we go through the budget numbers, which we have to send them to budget date. I think, I personally would like to do them.
I would like to do them too, right.
Well, you got the CFOs on board, which is a big step in the right direction. We got time,
Just have to see the funding,
yeah.
I'll have them on board next month.
Right, excellent, right.
Yeah.
Yep. Any other information, questions you need, please, let me know.
Mike, and Brickline was the one you said that we need to widen the park path.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
So we talked about.
Yeah, there's some, DPW work we're gonna need, Joe to help with, very little to do on it, but, Rickline, he's gonna need help with. Correct.
And then, Mike, I have one other question.
Yes.
I saw in the bill list, and I was a little surprised that, and it's not a significant number, but it is a significant number in one respect. Yourself and John Drill are billing for having conversations with the Home Depot over solar that they may put on the roof. Correct?
Correct.
why are we paying, why are we being billed for something that would in theory come out of an escrow account if they wanted to go to the land use board to do that? I mean, why is there preliminary costs?
Fair question. And it's my understanding they will be coming. However, this isn't that. When there is a potential applicant who needs some questions answered relative to application questions, checklist questions, processing questions, procedural questions, and things of that nature, it's not unusual at all. In fact, it's very common. They will reach out for the attorney or the engineer. Now we're talking
Land use board, right.
Land use board engineer. In this case, this fellow was contacting me. I ended up scheduling a conference call with John because it was kind of in a gray area, I thought, as far as what type of application you needed to file. But there was a reasonable amount of time spent. So that, to me, has historically always been billed, because you still didn't know at that point whether there was going to be an application.
Right.
And therefore, whether it's going to be escrow or not. That the land use board, kind of the cost of business times, I think that's the wrong expression, but as the board professionals, we're supplying the service, but there's no other place to bill it.
Right. No, well, I kind of understand that, but my thought and thinking is, and again, I don't know, and I'll let the attorney weigh in if the Home Depot needs answers about a project they may or may not do, and it's going to cost the taxpayers of the community something, then there should be, let's just say, an initial escrow account to cover, like, they should be fronting the $500 that it cost us versus us. And if they choose not to go through with the project now, and again, 500 isn't super significant, but in this particular situation, we just flushed it on answering them questions. Shouldn't there be a fee? Huh? Yeah, it was $500. John Drills alone was probably $290, and you had two 160 bills in there.
I was familiar with our zoning and everything, that they're not, usually, like...
Well, the question was, no, they did approach Larry by way of a phone call, and I immediately said, well, there's going to be some size restrictions and this and that and everything else like that. I said I couldn't personally interpret the code book for that.
Well, I can read you from Bloomsbury's code. We actually have a mechanism in there where it's just, they agree that they're paying those bills for.
Well, and that's what I'm thinking, and that's what I'm leading to is, should we have something like that? Should that not occur again?
Yes, and I would go at this. Did you approve the bills already? I know
I did, yes.
Take those bills, well, I'll speak for my bill, I don't want to speak for John's. Take mine, don't pay it, and they're going to make an application, and we'll just, once they make an application.
I think it'll be easy enough to move it from escrow over to there, let it be paid at this point. I'm just saying, I think we need a mechanism because, this was a $500 one, but I could see Cuba Pharmacy, having one that could be 10 times bigger questions. And so I just want to make sure that the applicants is actually funding and not the taxpayers.
There is a provision in the code which we adopted years ago now, but this is more for pending applications, but for meetings with the professionals. So that, if anybody calls us trying to set up a meeting, we always say, well, you got to put up the
well, exactly. All right. So the mechanism is there. We just need to try to use it better. Okay. That's all. And so we'll need to try to follow that out this time around.
Sure.
Okay. Sound right?
Well, yes and no. We have to have statutory officers. You have to have a town attorney and a town engineer. And they're there, and where do you draw the line? The one is Home Depot, a company. What happens if John Joe Citizen calls up the town engineer and says, I'm thinking of putting an addition on our house, and I have a question, all right? You now charge an escrow. I don't think you can. And even though Home Depot or some other big company it's different than local residents, I understand that, but you really, I don't think you can draw the line. Now, there are towns that have provisions if someone is seeking a zoning change, for instance. They have to put up an escrow, I've seen those types of ordinances. But when these are routine questions which we handle, which Mr. Finelli's firm handles, when people call and they say, I'm thinking of developing these towns, it's part of the service that we offer and that you require from us. So I don't think you can say, hey, Home Depot, before we answer your question, we want you to put up $1,000 escrow. So when we answer your question, we can bill you for that. We also are there to attract people to come into town and do ratables and so forth. So it's a service. So there's a very fine line there. And I think if something really gets heavy, where they say to, like, you know, we want you to meet with our engineers and so forth, well, and now you're going into it. You know, if you're gonna file an application with the board, that's fine, and then you're gonna establish an escrow, you have to meet with your engineer. That's not, this is, you know, a telephone call, hey, I wanted your interpretation on this, or John's interpretation. That's part of the service that.
Okay, all right.
Okay, Mike?
I do agree with the point that, you know, time can be added at the time that they file an application.
Yeah, and for what it's worth, let's call, I try within reason to just lose that other time that is spent during the course of a month on calls that come in. But, you know, the Home Depot thing.
No, I know, I'm well aware of the residents that continually call you and Attorney Lavery, you know, and sometimes it's reflected, sometimes it's not. I know what's happening and stuff. I wasn't really worried about these.
Fair question, Paul, I don't know what
I mean, I was handling litigation for the town. I get calls from neighbors I probably haven't even billed them, but some I may have.
Right.
You know, and it's part of the service. The resident calls me and says, you know, can you tell me, I read this online, what's happening with the thing? Obviously, we want to be responsible to residents to like that.
Okay, all right, well, yeah, I was just kind of, I saw that and I was just a little surprised that, we were upfront that way, but if it's at the cost of doing business, then so be it. Okay.
It's a fine line, but it is.
Old business, land leases update, I guess we're gonna address that in the resolution where we accepted the bids, right? Color is,
The only other update I think, Brad may have been looking for is that we have mailed today the packets and the information and the leases and the cover letters and everything from Frank and so that once you guys approve, the resolution tonight, then, you know, it's officially awarded that they will have the details on, the exact amount they owe and
So that's a technical question. So do we, and I guess Larry, so do we, pass the resolution before they've signed the lease agreement?
I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with these leases.
They're farm leases.
Oh, farm leases. Okay. You can, by the farm leases, you can pass a resolution if you have all the bids or whatever you
Right.
do. You can pass a resolution before you can pass a resolution. But you're authorizing the town to enter into these leases, even though the farmers may not have signed.
So what the motion we would make is to authorize entering into the lease.
Lease agreements, right.
that's essentially what the resolution.
yeah.
Okay.
Well, basically, Larry, it's gonna be a resolution accepting the bids for the farm properties and
That's right, and authorizing them to enter into agreements based upon those bids.
And then does it have anything in here about, not that I anticipate any issues, but just gonna ask a question, if they don't sign it? Like, do they get so many days?
If they don't sign it, then there's no lease.
Right, how long do they get to sign it?
You can set the time period, you know, I
Okay.
mean,
I actually think it's addressed
by
in
next
cover
meeting,
letter.
let's
It is?
say,
Okay.
if you feel like they should have signed it by next meeting, they haven't, you can withdraw. You know.
Well, I just wanna make sure we have the amount of time they have to sign it, I just don't want it to be open-ended.
Right.
Is it in the letter?
I believe it is in Frank's cover letter that I will,
Let me just double check that.
double check it if they're in the outgoing now.
Because we've had issues of leases.
You could wait, by the
that
way,
we
the
didn't have,
alternative is
you
to
know.
wait till the farmer sign the leases, then you could approve them. You can do it either way.
I don't mind doing it now, it's fine, just to, you know,
How many leases are there?
I just want to make sure that we're, you know, protected in the sense that I don't want to leave it open-ended for anyone to sign it.
But they're all different.
And I'd like to add a side note, because I was here with Frank that day and everything else like that, and we were talking about maintenance and things like that, and using that. He actually had told me, and I know that open space, we have dedicated park money for that and everything else like that, but the lease money that we're taking in from these fields can be used for the maintenance on all our green areas. So that we no longer need to build DPW out of Joe's budget for mowing, or the mowing of the parks and the other open spaces, can come from the revenue from these leases.
Well, the cost of TSP anyway is Green Acres.
Is Green Acres, right, exactly, right.
That gets paid out of Green Acres.
Green Acres, right.
Open space.
So, but this one, the rest of our open space that we're maintaining can theoretically come from the, what was it, 49,000 and change?
Yeah.
From that, so we can take that from the general fund now and put it into the dedicated open space number. And that will help Joe's budget in the long run, that it won't be being directly billed to, the general work.
The revenues will get recorded into the open space.
Right, exactly, so. And I thought that, because I didn't think that we could do that all the way across the board, only at Thomas Stewart Park, but we can do it all the way across the board for even non-Green Acre space.
Yeah.
So, I was excited about that.
Affordable housing, anybody have any updates on that? Frank's not here, he usually has anything on it for us.
Nothing went into this other than we heard last month. But with the True Chief, the ongoing, analysis and back and forth between Linda Peterson, David Slack's engineer, and Bowler Engineering, with me kind of as a mediator, if you will. They're making progress. It's not finalized yet, to Linda Peterson's satisfaction, where she would make a recommendation to David Slack to say it's okay. So it's moving along. I think it's going in the right direction. Everybody's being pretty professional about it. Bowler, to their credit, has, you know, she's given Bowler, like, I think their orders are pretty much do whatever you gotta do to keep this guy happy. That's the impression I'm getting. So it's moving forward. They're trying to get it done. I expect it to be blessed by all parties within the next month. And then,
Okay. The old business, Washington Street, property in Old School, which we already discussed that, we're looking into possible an auction with it, with the span agency, so. New business, everybody have a chance to review the, correspondence we got regarding the Segme Cedar Lane proposal? In a nutshell, it was a letter from an attorney representing a group that wants to build a warehouse on the property down on 173 and the Asbury Road is behind the way station. And they're asking if the township is interested in discussing with them a zoning change, rather than going to the land use board trying to get a variance or whatever. Yeah, so, I guess we want to discuss it. I'll go first. I'm not interested at all in addressing the, a zoning change. We have our master plan, it is what it is. I think the residents spoke pretty loud and clear during the affordable housing, issue, that they don't want, the warehousing. So, my personal opinion is I have no interest in even speaking with the people, so.
I'll go second.
Have
I
at it.
totally agree with you. Their 2016 survey of the area, when they did it, was in the summertime. That's not the busiest time. There are already trucks coming down 173. They're not going to abide by that. Our roadway on Warren Glen has increased tremendously with truck traffic, cars. we have more than enough. I do not entertain it either.
Paul, Brad?
Well, I have mixed feelings for a variety of reasons, and I'm sort of not on board with it, but there's a project that's taking place a mile from there that if it goes through,
That's the Franklin Township.
the Franklin Township, we bought the problem regardless. So adding one more problem to it at the far point of town, I don't really think it affects anybody. Well, everything affects everybody. But I think that there's some issues there. I would need to really see a lot more of it. Again, I'm not necessarily for it, but if that project goes through on Franklin Township, we're going to have costs associated with it. So I don't want to say flatly no, but I would certainly side with the majority of TC, however they decide.
Well, I think another pitfall, though, is well, one, I don't even want to entertain the zoning. I'd rather have them go through the land use.
Well,
plan, do what they want to do, put up the escrow, go and ask for change of use, or all that. But I don't think we should skip that process.
No, I agree. I don't think we should skip that process.
And two, I think we open ourselves to a possible spot zoning.
Absolutely.
If we do it.
Absolutely.
And just something everybody's aware, we met with these folks. We, John and I, Drill and I, and they posted us in that case, because it was a meeting. We gave them the two options. We said, you got path A, use variance, path B, zone change. That's the only options really they had. They decided to go the zone change route. So they know they could go the variance route, but
They're not even saying what kind of a warehouse they want to bring in. They're not saying what size, they're not saying,
yeah,
Well, it has a
they
size
said
on it.
it's 125,000 square feet.
yeah, but they're not saying what they're bringing in or anything, what's it for?
225 to 250.
Oh, yeah, no, you're right. It's under 250. That's correct.
My opinion of it is, I'm kind of mixed too, Paul, because, I look around at what some of the ones that are currently being built, or the ones that are being proposed to be built in the area. So you have the one up on 22 on Phillipsburg. You've got one proposed in White Township on 519, which to me is just going to be a disaster. One in Franklin Township, and there's another one. All these Strikers Road, these roads are not suitable for warehousing. This lot, which is right off the exit of, between exit 7 and exit 6 there, it's not a terrible location. Just my opinion. If you're going to put a warehouse and you're going to put it next to an exit on an interstate, you're not going to get a lot of traffic through your residential properties. But that aside, I'm with you. I'm not doing a zoning change. You want to do it, go through the land use board, do it the right way. I'm not getting involved in it. Won't do it. Gotta do it the right way. And if the town wants to consider, future development, warehousing, industrial usage, we gotta do a master plan review and start reevaluating how we have some of these lease. But I don't want to get involved in it because I just think it just opens us up.
Okay, so I'll make a motion that, Lisa, tomorrow, can you notify John Drill that we discussed it, and the township committee is not interested in doing the zoning change, and we would refer them back to the land use board for their application. That's the motion I'm making. Anybody want a second?
I'll second it.
I'll do a roll call on it. Yes.
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 If I may, Mr. Mayor, excuse me but just, are you basing your comments on the Franklin project on the mailer that was just sent?
Yes.
Okay, I figured that's why I said. There, as the engineer in Franklin, I obviously am familiar with the proposed project. They're gross exaggerations of the size of what is being proposed. It is factually so far off that flyer.
No, I knew the flyer was
Okay,
not
so
factually correct.
It's still over 1 million square feet. It's a big.
Right, no, it's a big
Okay,
unit.
just so you know.
No, I knew that, but
Okay. Yeah, that's all.
we may potentially get a problem whether we want it or
No,
not.
no.
So,
It's gonna be in a,
right.
but it's a
Right.
lot smaller.
No, exactly, I knew
than
that.
the flyer said. So, okay, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Sorry to interrupt.
No, that's fine. Bob, I still got something under new business here.
Okay.
The Muskinecon, Council, which I guess was officially and we opted into it in 2002 and was officially adopted in 2006, has been light on a representative from Greenwich Township for what they say is a considerable amount of time.
I don't think we have anybody sign.
I think I'm like, is that me?
No, well, that's what I'm asking. And I mean, I got some, they meet every other month and this and that, and we have a vote, and there's not a lot to it, and I don't know what's going on to it. But I do have somebody who's actually interested, and I asked them how the other communities are handling it, and most generally, it's one or two people from the Environmental Commission. It's one TC member who really doesn't go to the meetings, and somebody from the Environmental Commission goes to the meetings, and such. And it was a variety of different things. And he just thought it would be good for us to start to participate into it again. So I'm bringing that around because I wasn't sure if we even had somebody as a liaison to it.
I think we signed it at the reorg. And I want to say, I think it's me.
Okay. So, with that being said, we have a young man that I think would be a good fit who's recently joined the Environmental Commission. I'd like to see, at this stage of the game, at least he communicate with you, and if you felt comfortable in appointing him to the commission, and he could virtually be our representative to it.
I'm all for it, because I don't know when they meet or anything, so I'll have to get myself familiar with it now. Now that I'm called out on it.
But with that being said, that's what I wanted to bring up there, to fill that in, and I think that's it for new business for me. Oh, actually, no, I'm sorry. This will be brief. I've already had a brief conversation with Mike on it. Former mayor / committeeman, Bill Kenyak, has expressed deep concerns about the truck traffic that is on Hurleman Road. And was wondering what we could do about putting a weight limit sign on that road. And I spoke with Mike, and he says it's our road. We could do that if we wanted to.
Which one's Hurleman?
Hurleman's the one, my development, Acer development. Okay, Willow Grove goes off, stays to the left, works to the left. Hurleman is the road that you go straight.
Okay.
It goes into Franklin and then becomes a farm lane.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, it's possible the problem's been solved, but the bottom line is, my first conversation as to maybe we should put a weight limit sign on that road, or do you put a weight limit in the whole neighborhood? But it's still going to be delivery regardless. So I'm thinking you're only going to put it on Hurleman, right?
Yeah.
Right, so I'm not looking for any decisions on it right now. I'm throwing it out there. Let's see if the problem's been solved. He's super concerned that once the new paving is done, that there's going to be some heavy truck traffic that, to be honest, shouldn't be there. And that's what we're talking about.
Okay. I'm looking for a motion to adopt Resolution 2120. It's a resolution accepting the bids for the farm at Township properties. A total of 5 properties. Apparently, Paul, you had them added up to around $49,000 a year. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, it sounds about right.
5 properties, okay. So, anyone want to make that motion to adopt Resolution 2120?
I'll make the motion.
Anybody second?
I'll second it.
Any other further comments, questions, discussion? Roll call? Yes.
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 2220 we did. 10420 we did. Okay, good. Looking for a motion to open a public hearing for the second reading of ordinance 101-2020, which is the short-term rental ordinance. I don't have a copy of it here for any specifics, so I'm going to anybody ask any questions, but,
It would be in the meeting minutes.
yeah, I'm making the motion, we open it. Anybody want a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone want to come up to the podium and ask any questions about the short-term rental ordinance?
What's the short-term rental?
Come up to the podium, give your name and address, and then,
I get why you have to do it. I'm Rob Brunk. I live on 121 Kennedy Mill Road. What's a short-term rental agreement?
it's an ordinance where we are putting limitations on how long or how short you can rent a home. So you can't rent it out for nights at a time or a week at a time. you could do rentals, but not short-term rentals, basically.
Like Airbnb and
Yeah.
so.
It's
okay.
basically eliminating the opportunity to have an Airbnb in the town, yes.
What did we set it at? It was 90, 90, so it has to be 90 days or greater. And there was one exception if
You sold the
you sold
home,
your home and there was a week that a
closing gap.
closing gap and you needed someone to rent it for a short period of time.
Anyone else? Seeing none, I'll make a motion to close.
I'll make the motion.
Anyone a second?
Oh, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Looking for a motion to adopt ordinance 101, 2020, short-term rental ordinance. I'll make the motion to adopt. Anybody want a second?
Second.
Any other further discussion? Roll call?
Mayor Barsney?
Yes.
No.
Ms. McDermott?
Yes.
Mr. Kraus?
Yes.
Okay. I'll make a motion. We open the public hearing for ordinance 103, 2020, second reading, ordinance to require large hardened buildings to install radio booster equipment. Anybody want to second that?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone wishing to come up to the podium, ask any questions, make any statements regarding ordinance 103, 2020? I'll briefly describe it. That's really just requiring any large buildings, for instance, a warehouse or a mall where anything builds. They have to put radio boosting equipment in so that the police, fire, and rescue radios will work in that building. So, seeing none, I'll make a motion to close public hearing. Everybody want a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'll make a motion to adopt ordinance 103, 2020, ordinance to require large hardened buildings to install radio booster equipment. Anybody want a second?
I'll second.
Roll call?
Mayor Barsney?
Yes.
Mr. Bean?
Yes.
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 What's the solicitation permit application?
That is for MJ Hoffman with Pacific Solar. She's been in quite a bit. I think she had the same permit last year to, basically, go to word work. The only difference with this year's application, it's already been approved by the chief, everything's, good. But she was asking for one exception, which should be noted on that. She was, asking for us to expand the hours, because she's finding it hard to reach people after work.
The expansion of the thing, going to be expanding hours that are already in the ordinance?
She's saying, I strictly adhere to the hours of 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Mondays through Saturdays throughout 2019. She's asking that it be extended Mondays through Saturdays. Here's how that. Just so that she can reach the people who are working.
Larry, if we gave one waiver, our ordinance says 9 to 5.
What does she ask?
Either we have to change the ordinance or
Now, the ordinance, you're just setting the hours, right? So, I mean, if you are desiring to change the hours, you can do it by motion.
is that opening the Pandora's box when everybody comes in and says, I don't like the hours, can we do it until 9 at night? Do we?
What's her position, right?
She's a salesperson.
She's a salesperson for solar.
energy.
Trying to sell solar panels to people.
And what is our ordinance provide for?
9 to 5.
And she wants to come in after 5 when people are home?
Well, that's her premise. More people will be home, right?
I don't think you can grant away with it. Ordinance is 9 to 5, and it's 9 to 5.
Yeah, I think you either have to change the ordinance or.
I don't like, I don't think she can make any sense, but we're not providing a reasonable time. I mean, people have the right, people want to be, interrupted during a different time that they come home.
Okay, that's our answer there, I guess. Okay, I'm looking for a motion to adopt resolution
I'm sorry,
2320.
we still need to approve the application. If you guys-
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought we already had,
Sorry
okay.
about that, yes.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we approve, the application for Vivid Solar, the solicitation permit. I'll make a motion
But that we do not
waive any,
authorize any additional hours other than what is stated in the ordinance.
yeah, what he said. Anybody want a second?
I'll second it.
Roll call?
Mayor Barsney?
Yes.
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 Looking for a motion to adopt resolution 2320, which is a resolution authorizing redemption of tax liens. as recommended by the collector. Anybody want a second? I'll make the motion. Everybody want a second?
I'll second.
Any other questions, comments? Roll call? Yes.
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 Yes. I have 22 and 23.
Yeah, there's a 24 now, all added.
I have 24. What, 24 was a claimant signature, we did that already. Right?
Yeah, 22
Yeah,
is
20, there's two tax
23 is
liens.
tax lien.
There's two tax liens, 22, 20, and 23.
I just did 23, right?
Yeah.
Okay, it's 20, okay. I'll make a motion, we adopt resolution number 2220, resolution authorizing redemption of tax liens as recommended by the tax collector. Anybody want a second?
Second.
Roll call?
Mayor Barsney?
Yes.
Mr. Bean?
Yes.
Mr. Lewis?
Yes.
Yes.
And now there's a 24 here somewhere too?
That's the one we did.
That's the claim, okay.
We went out of order wrong.
Yeah, I'm all screwed up. Okay, so I think we're done with all the resolutions and votes. Okay, good. 2020, 2021 payroll dates, we have to make a motion to adopt them? or not?
No, we'll come back to, that's a discussion item.
Okay.
Let's do that last, because,
How about the
The other ones are
laptop
easy.
purchase? You want to wait for that too?
no, I just want to get authorization to, purchase a
Yeah, we
laptop.
talked about that.
To see if,
So she could do it remotely.
Yeah, well, plus there's only one computer.
Yeah. I'll make the motion for you that we purchase the laptop.
I'll
Everybody want a
second it.
Roll call?
Mayor Barsney?
Yes.
Mr. Bean?
Yes.
Yes.
Skipping Frank. Mr. Crowe?
Yes.
Okay. We have anything in our employee handbook to discuss?
Later.
Okay. Budget meeting, date, budget
I
meeting,
don't-
I had that down. Budget meeting date, we're still waiting for.
Yeah, I sent an email to John Reinhardt. I didn't hear back from him.
Okay, when you do, can you let Lisa know that she can send out emails asking for availability?
Yeah, I mean, basically, just really quick. Sound like Mike, don't I?
Mm-hmm.
Really quick. It's a little fun. Anyway, so Karen, now that we've appointed her and she's coming on officially on the 23rd, she's gonna start digging in with John on the budget too. Obviously, she needs to get familiar with it, so, I'm trying to coordinate it with her and with John Reinhardt. So, I haven't gotten an update yet because they had to finalize the annual financial statement and all the other information that feeds into the budget. So now that that's done, he should have most of what he needs to give us a view of where we're at. And then I asked him, I said, throw out some dates and times, give us some options, and then once I get it, I'll share with you guys. So,
I'm gonna submit the name of Elizabeth Gittens as, for an appointment to the Historical Commission. Anybody, I guess I'm making the motion to appoint Elizabeth Gittens, and the mayor makes the appointment here, I advise and consent, so I guess I do it that way, as a motion to appoint Elizabeth Gittens to the Historical Commission. Anybody want a second?
I'll second it.
Anybody have any questions, comments, discussions on it?
I'm just happy to hear that there's another person joining the historic.
Okay, roll call?
Mayor Barsney?
Yes.
Mr. Bean?
Yes.
Mr. Crowe?
Yes.
Yes.
And I'm also submitting the names of Brian Thompson and Brian Baylor as appointments to the Recreation Committee.
I'll second.
Any questions, comments, discussion?
Is Rec aware of this?
Oh.
Because I got two
They're aware that
names.
there's two openings.
Yeah, but they approved two people last night at their meeting.
They don't have the authority to approve.
Well, they had two people come to them who wanted to join it, and I got an email from, you might, I don't know, I'm not the liaison anymore.
Well,
but I think you should talk about it.
My meeting with Lauren several weeks ago, she said that there might be a couple of people interested. And I said, well, you need to provide those people, that, it's the mayor's thing with the
Right.
CC's approval. Bob and I had a brief conversation yesterday, that Bob's also had some people reach out to him. I had no names at the time. I didn't get them until 12 noon today. Bob had already communicated to the other people, that he would appoint them to his open spots.
One could always vote no.
So does recreation no, they don't.
Who are the other two people? Can we ask that? Does it matter?
The two names that came today were, Bob Lombard, is it? And
I gotta look it up.
Maureen Palucci,
Colleen Pussy and Joseph
Lombard.
Lombard, I believe, right?
I want these two. I'll take them.
And with Bob being the one who actually appoints them, you know,
Oh, I thought
he had an should have had an opportunity to speak with him today.
Again, she passed the names on to me. I'm trying to see the email now. And I forwarded it on to you guys. But I didn't know that, I don't even think Rick knows that Brian, it was Brian and Brian, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
That were interested in joining Rick, so they weren't even aware. And they had a meeting last night. That's all I'm saying, you point whoever you want, but they had a meeting last night.
I don't know if we're ever wrong. That's what I'm recommending. You guys can vote.
All right.
So, you know,
I have no objection to anybody, I'm just saying, I don't think that any of the members from Rec are aware of it, that's all.
They will be now after you vote.
If you vote on it, yes. So,
I make the motion
Okay.
for those two. So
I'll
you
second
seconded
it.
it already, I believe, anyway.
Mhm.
So I guess roll call.
Mayor Barsney?
Yes.
Mr. Beam?
Yes.
Mr. McDermott?
Yes.
Mr. Ferraro?
abstain. I'm not voting yes or no.
I guess we're back to, what's the payroll dates?
Yes.
Yeah, so the discussion here, and we may not have enough information to make a decision, I just wanted to bring it up because the way the payroll falls, because we do every 2 weeks, and the way the year lays out this year, there would actually be 27 payroll dates instead of 26. So I talked briefly with Brian about it, Brian McCorder, who's the assistant. I haven't had a discussion with Karen, but there's a couple things you can do. You can either do a 27th pay in 2020, which would be basically a shortened pay period, it'd be a 1 week. So anybody who's hourly, it's really pretty, not a big issue. And it's not really that big of an issue for anybody. It's just that the extra pay period, if you're salaried, it'll be a smaller pay for that 27th. The other option is to push it off into 21. Doing that, then there would be basically, instead of a 2-week gap, you'd have a 3-week gap, but you would get the extra pay in that pay. So you have to make a decision. We have to make this decision at some point. It doesn't have to be tonight, because I don't know the dates. Because the pay period, the 27th pay would fall, and Lisa, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it actually falls on January 1st, which is a Friday, and it's a banking holiday. So you couldn't probably even process it that day, which would be a clean 2 weeks. So you'd have to move it up. It'd have to be an early pay, which is off our payroll cycle, to do it in 2020. Again, it's not that big a deal. You have to figure out what we want to do and make sure we communicate it to the employees so they're aware of how that extra pay is going to be handled. So it's either you pay it up front early, and it's off cycle, and it's smaller, and a shorter period, which would then also require us to change the payroll cycle in 21. Or you push it off, and then unfortunately, what is kind of somewhat of an inconvenience is that employees would have a longer period from their last pay in December into their first pay in 21. It would be like roughly 3-week gap. So those are the options. So again, nothing to do now, because I think what we need is really the CFO and to give us the hard dates and just discuss it. But again, I think just something that we've got to do. And I'll just throw this out as something to consider, whether it's this year or next year. A lot of towns have shifted from the 2-week pay cycle to a twice-a-month pay cycle. It avoids this. You get paid on the 15th, and you get paid on the 30th or whatever, middle of the month and the end of the month. When you go to a pay cycle like that, which some municipalities do, a lot of companies do, like my company does it avoids all of it. So and it's a definitive date. People know exactly when they're getting paid instead of having to look at the calendar.
Mm-hmm.
Something to consider. I'm not at recommending or making a proposal. I'm just saying something to think about for future time, because this isn't gonna be the last time this happens.
It happens every years.
Every so often, so, again, I just wanted to bring it up to just bring awareness to it. We do have to settle this out, within the next couple of months so that we can, communicate it to the employees.
I think that's everything in new business. I'm gonna move up to public comment, correspondence, any correspondence? Move public comment up, because we're gonna have to go into executive session, but this should be very short. I'll make a motion, we open public comment.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone wishing from the public to make a comment?
Dora Scullion, 13 Barnswallow Court. I think we had information that we would get a stop sign from the county that would go on Beatty's Road and 173, or Beatty's Road and Greenwich Church Road intersect. And so far, I don't think it's there, and I don't know if it's coming. I thought the county said, oh, they'd be happy to do whatever we needed from a comment.
Until the engineer got involved.
Yeah, well, maybe, I don't know. Yes.
Not this engineer, the county engineer.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
Sure.
Bill Believe is the county engineer.
Yes.
Okay. Spoke with Bill, corresponded with Bill and whatnot, and he
Mhm.
said he'd go take a look at it. He actually called me from the field one, like, rush hour time period, and he was kind of giving me the play-by-play, what is, he wanted to see it up close and personal at afternoon rush hour.
Which is, he's thinking 4 or 5 o'clock. Is that 5, 6 o'clock?
5-ish, yes,
Mhm.
that's exactly right.
Mhm.
A little past 5.
Sure.
He said it was hard for him to justify, to sum it up, adding a sign, to that road because of the lack of traffic. And I said, Bill, I haven't seen it myself, but I've heard that it's pretty bad.
Right.
The difficulty, obviously, it's a county road and we can't.
Do anything, right.
I mean, they would.
Sure.
It would be.
Sure. Right.
Taken out for next.
Right, right.
So that's kind of.
That's fine. Well, rush hour there is when the nursery school lets out, or on Sunday mornings when people are coming from church. That's when the big, there's the big push there, and if people don't watch, then, people come barreling up there, and while you're creeping around and there's a tree and you're kind of looking, and boom, here they come. So that's fine. He looked and he made his recommendation. But I don't think rush hour is actually 4 to 5 at that corner.
Careful.
Yeah,
Thank
but we can't change that.
No,
Anyone else?
I just had a question.
Yeah.
And another person, sorry.
Bill Gullion, 13 Barnswallow Court. Is there anything the township can do regarding these warehouses and what have you that are being built elsewhere that are going to have an impact on us? Is there anything that can be done?
Not really. We talked about that last month when Mike was here, and theoretically, they won't have an impact on our infrastructure because they're not supposed to go on any of our roads. Any roads are going to go on are going to be county roads, and the county is given approval to one of Sprinklers Road, I believe already, right, Mike?
yes. No. The township is given approval, the county is not given a full approval.
Okay. So basically, they don't go on our roads, so it's very difficult for us to take a stand on it.
What about the warehouse on in Phillipsburg?
That'd be all on 22 State Road.
Okay.
We're stuck with it.
Yeah, no, we're stuck with it.
It's sort of, and even if you don't get the truck traffic, it's just it's truck traffic that we have to,
Yeah.
go to Home Depot or
Right.
go.
No, absolutely.
It's there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for your question. Next.
Rob Brunk, 121 Kennedy Mill Road. I have a couple things. One, we talked about it earlier today. I talked about it with the chief. This is what, do you guys have any ideas to actual status of when the bridge is actually going to open up?
No, but I thought originally he said March.
I've heard first part of April. Yeah, no, that's what I've heard.
It's supposed to be March or April.
Yeah, I'm hearing it's on track, and by April it'll be open.
That's
Which
one.
was when that was supposed to be opened, right?
Okay. Second thing I want to talk about is, and you sort of went over it, what is going on with the old school? I mean, it's on your list.
We're talking to an auction company about possibly putting it up for auction.
And what would they end up doing with it?
Auctioning it off.
Yeah, and what that, we don't know what it
buyer.
would eventually become. Best case scenario is it becomes a rateable with some apartments in it. That's what we're hoping. But from the town's point of view, we've exhausted our end as to bringing people in, making an area of redevelopment, offering a pilot, doing this and doing that, and there's just no takers. So we're hoping that this auction will generate something. It certainly did over in Pohat. Let's hope that we get just as lucky.
That's a good. There was one more thing, but I don't remember what it was. Anyway, thanks a lot. We'll talk to you guys. I'll talk to you guys. We'll talk to you guys later. It's been.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? I'll make a motion to close public comment.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, I want to make a motion to go into executive session for the purpose of discussing, IT issues involving the police department that we can't talk to public about to protect the public interest. So that's what it'd be about. If you want to wait around, we may take action, we might approve something, but it's only the motion is going to be probably to do what we discussed in the session. So you won't learn anything while you're here. Have a good night, stay warm.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thanks for coming. See you in the spring. We're back on. Okay. I'm gonna make a motion to come out of executive session.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We're in there for about, I guess, 25 minutes, for the purpose of discussing IT issues with the, police department. As a result, I'm gonna make a motion that we take action, we authorize the chief to take action as we discuss in executive session. Anybody want a second?
I'll second that.
Roll call?
Mayor Barsney?
Yes.
Mr. Beal?
Yes.
Mr. Daniel?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And I guess that's it. Anybody have anything else? Motion to adjourn?
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Lisa, we got a foreclosure notice. I don't know, you know what to do?
Oh, yeah, yeah. Anything to do?
Yeah. You know, I told you, don't be afraid of them, man. I don't,
Yeah.
none of my love letters come here. My love letters.
They go right to the school.